Bill Maher is at it again. He's pushing back against woke progressives on their hypocrisy when it comes to black-on-black crime. Wait until you see the truth bombs he dropped on one of his liberal guests and how much he's beginning to agree with what conservatives have been advocating for years. You're not going to want to miss this.
But why isn't anyone ever talking to, Chicago? Like, most of the shootings are young black men killing other young black men. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Much more than what the cops do. Why doesn't anybody talk about that? Well, I mean, why aren't there, 100 giant black celebrities who would have the respect of those people saying, what are you doing to yourselves? Why are you killing each other?
This is no way to live. This dishonors our community. Come on. We're better than this.
Right. I feel like it's never addressed.
Okay, so the person reacting there was Brown University professor Glenn Loury. He's absolutely amazing. He's a huge critic of political correctness and CRT, all that's got a great podcast. But what Bill Maher just said there is true at two levels, okay? He dropped two truth bombs. First and foremost, there is an epidemic of black-on-black crime in this nation that far exceeds the police shooting that the legacy media is so obsessed about. According to FBI statistics, although blacks make up no more than 13% of the U.S. population, they're victims of 53% of all murders. And of those murders, 90% are committed by other blacks. In Chicago, which Bill Maher referenced, Chicago's population is a third black, it's a third white, and it's a third Hispanic. And yet 70% of the homicides are black on black. So that's the first truth bomb he dropped. The second one is this. No one, most especially the legacy media, is talking about this in the public square. It's yet another damning indicator that what Tucker said in our first video of the day today, the legacy media doesn't exist to inform. It exists to promote and protect the interests of the ruling class, which requires that the people be divided by resentment politics. So this is why they push the bogus nonsense of blacks being disproportionately killed by police. The Manhattan Institute scholar Heather McDonald and a number of other scholars, particularly Harvard scholar Roland Fryer, who's himself black, they've debunked that assertion beyond a reasonable doubt.
But I think also attacking the problem would involve some sort of, again, material redistribution. So it's not a special surprise that corporate media doesn't talk about an issue that would involve the people who run corporations and people who star on shows to give up their money. So I think that's
so. How would giving up? How would that actually change this? Take me through. No, you take me through how giving more money would change this, because we have spent trillions of dollars on the war on poverty.
Exactly. So, and I'd be curious to hear what Glenn thinks about this, because the culture of poverty argument, as first articulated by Oscar Lewis, was the argument was specifically about it being caused by a capitalistic society that's alienated and individualistic, and where certain people win and other people lose. So I don't think, just like if everyone in Chicago all of a sudden started studying for the SATs and got 1600s tomorrow, that wouldn't necessarily change. Just if we gave billions of dollars, I don't think it would necessarily change. I think this is a generations-long project that involves really reforming the structure of American capitalist society, which I think has engendered a lot of the alienation and loneliness that we've been talking about this entire time.
Okay, but you didn't really follow the money for me.
In terms of what?
You take more money, yes, and then how does this change the behavior?
It's speculative, and what I would want to observe is that any structural move that you want to make requires a majority of the people to get behind it, requires democratic politics to get behind it. And in order to get a majority of the voters in Chicago or any place else to get behind anything that's going to cost them money, they have to feel safe. They have to feel that the people who are in charge are on their side. And that's why Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson needs to come and give speeches in which he says this is contemptible behavior. We won't tolerate it in our city. The reason we have cops is precisely in order to stop this from happening. And if you do it on my watch, you're going to go to jail.
Hey gang, who wants a free gift? For weeks now, you've been asking me when and where you'll be able to access my brand new research guidebook about how to escape the Great Reset and live a life that celebrates faith, family, and freedom in the face of Klaus Schwab and the bug-eating World Economic Forum. Well, I am delighted to announce that the digital version is here, and the best part is we're giving it away absolutely free. Click on that link below and learn the 5 steps to escape the Great Reset, keeping your family and sanity intact. You're going to learn a number of methods patriots are using all over the world to escape the Great Reset. You're going to discover how to build a life that isn't reliant on woke corporations and institutions. And I've even included a list of the daily news sites I actually read myself on a daily basis. Now, this isn't going to be available digitally for free for very long, so don't wait. Click on that link below and download your free digital copy today. All right, so that fellow there, the white guy, right, who originally answered Bill, was University of Washington professor Daniel Besner. I'm sorry. He just comes across as the epitome of what Malcolm Muggeridge once said: we've educated ourselves into imbecility. I mean, this whole notion, yes, well, the media won't talk about black-on-black crime because, well, it would force rich media people to distribute more of their money to inner city. I mean, that's just so Bill Clinton. That's so 1990s. That's so emphatically not what's happening here, obviously. And Bill Maher, to his credit, recognized that, and he pushed back. How does this have anything to do with money when we poured so many billions, if not trillions of dollars in our inner cities with literally no effect? Things have gotten worse. And Professor Lowry there reiterated that if city residents don't feel safe, first and foremost, they're not going to go with any social program the city government advocates. But Bill Maher was just getting warmed up with this pushback against this liberal panelist. Check this out.
Okay, so I also read this week in the paper, one in 3 children in America cannot read at a basic level of comprehension. 85% of black students lack proficiency in reading skills. We already spent a lot of money on schools. So you're going to keep telling me more money will fix this? Because I feel like this is much more connected to the problems of people who can't read. Yes, they're going to have problems with gainful employment. And it seems like, you know, a lot of times the solutions that come from the left seem symbolic. They don't seem like we're actually addressing what really needs to be done, is get kids learning, get them reading, get them able to have a job. I don't know how.
Early childhood education is a progressive policy that Danny and I assume could agree would be a good thing.
Absolutely.
It starts before school. It starts at birth. So that's one thing. Parenting is another dimension of it. Kids don't come into maturity all on their own. They have to be nurtured by loving parents who invest in them and who tend to their needs and show them the way to go. So I think structure and culture can be complementary factors in addressing this problem.
And absolutely amazing. I mean, who would have ever have thought we would hear a defense of family values on the Bill Maher show? But at least to a certain extent, he's getting it. He recognized that liberals offer solutions that have one problem: they don't solve. Liberal solutions don't solve, and they don't solve because they generally see the foundational institutions of culture like family, faith, community as inherently artificial. Liberalism tends to err on the side of bureaucratic institutions that, as it turns out, are simply not substitutes for the timeless institutions of faith, family, and community that are foundational to any flourishing civilization. And we don't need to look any further than the total breakdown of the family in black communities. The illegitimacy rate is over 70% today in the black community, and stats don't lie. The poverty rate among blacks is 37%, but if they're married and working, it's 8%. 5% if both husband and wife are working. That's comparable to whites. And kids, black, white, doesn't matter, without a dad, raised in a single home, are 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crimes, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. So we're not dealing with a funding problem in our inner cities. We're dealing with a family problem. The problem isn't cash. The problem is cultural. And even Bill Maher, to his credit, is coming to that conclusion. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Tucker absolutely torching the ruling class as Fox News loses billions. You're not going to want to miss that. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.